Cambridge writing. No one really knows what to do in order to get high marks. There are different marking criteria, which I explain in another video. But when it comes to putting all of these information into practice, especially without a teacher, the problems start. So in this video, we are going to have a look at how you can assess your own writing. Of course, you already know that because you read the title of the video and then clicked on it. Very smart, very smart. So grab your pens and notebooks and let's turn you into an army of examiners. Hi and welcome to Teacher Phil, where I help people like you pass their Cambridge exam. Today I'm going to focus on examples from C1 Advanced, but for future videos I can definitely switch it up. Once you start your own practice, you can check out my C1 Advanced or B2 First writing guides, where I show you a lot of different examples, give you all the information you need about the different tasks, as well as the marking in Cambridge exams. I can also give you personalized feedback on your writing. So if you are interested, all the links are in the description box below. But okay, let's start with the basics. In C1 Advanced Writing, there are 4 marking criteria: content, communicative achievement, organization, and language. In each of those criteria, you can score between 0 and 5 marks, which gets us to a total of 20 possible marks. To be honest, you can only get 0 marks if you either don't write anything or you write something that is complete rubbish. So you don't really have to worry about getting 0 marks, okay? Anyway, 3 marks or better in any of the criteria means that, for example, in C1 Advanced, your level is C1 or higher for that specific area of your writing. If you score fewer than 3 marks, however, it means that your level in that area is below C1. This, of course, is true for other levels as well. So if you get 3 out of 5 marks in B2 First, your level is B2. Or 3 out of 5 marks in C2 Proficiency means C2. I guess you get the idea. It is also important to note that in your exam you have to write 2 texts, which means that you have to reach a total of 24 out of 40 marks in order to pass the full writing paper. You can, for instance, completely bomb one task and ace the other and still pass the exam. The average is what matters. For example, if you get only, let's say, 9 out of 20 marks for your essay, but you write an article as a second task and you score 16 out of 20, then together you get to 25 out of 40 marks and pass the writing test. But I digress. In this video, I'm going to focus on the content marking criterion. I'm going to explain to you everything you need to know with a couple of examples from C1 Advanced. So you know exactly what to do when you write your texts, as well as how to assess your own writing once you've finished your text. This way, you know which areas you are already good at and also in which you can still improve. In the next video in this mini-series, I'm going to focus on communicative achievement, and I would like to look at examples from a different level. So let me know in the comments if you want me to look at B1 Preliminary, B2 First or C2 Proficiency. So let's get started, shall we? Content is, at least in my opinion, the easiest marking criterion to score high marks in. Here you have to do 2 things. First of all, everything you write should be relevant to the task. The second thing is that the reader needs to be fully informed. So what does that mean? Every task gives you very specific requirements and things that you have to include in your text. If all the things you write relate to these given content points, then they are relevant to the task. If they don't exactly relate, they are considered irrelevant. To fully inform the reader, you also need to make sure that your ideas are well developed, meaning that you should always add a little bit more information to your ideas and explain them in more detail. If you do both things well, you get 5 marks. If there are small things that are irrelevant and you don't fully develop your ideas, you still get 3 marks, which would be enough to pass. So keep in mind that your writing doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. However, you can also get just 1 mark if you simply do a bad job at these 2 things. To get 4 marks, for example, your content has to lie between the criteria for 3 and 5 marks. To better illustrate those points, however, let's have a look at a few examples. Here you can see an essay task together with a possible answer. Feel free to pause the video for a moment to read everything, as I'm just going to continue. In this task, you need to discuss facilities that should get some money from local authorities like the city council. You have to talk about 2 of the facilities and say which one is more important and should therefore receive the funding, giving reasons for your opinion. When looking at a writing task like this, you should always underline the key words or information, because it can be very helpful for you and you might be able to utilize that information in your writing.
Of course, you can also watch my video on how to write an essay in C1 Advanced to get even more information on that specific topic.
But now let's see how this candidate does in their essay. First of all, everything in this essay is relevant to the task. There's nothing that's unnecessary or off topic. So just by reading it once, we can already see that the first sub-criteria of keeping things relevant has been fulfilled. They choose 2 facilities, museums and parks, describe in detail and with good reasons why each one should receive the funding, and decide in the final sentence that museums are more deserving of the money. Everything that the task asks for is in this essay. So I would give the task a full 5 marks for content. Here is also a second example. This time I chose a report for you, and this one is a little bit more complex. The task asks you to do 3 specific things, which I've underlined. First of all, I found a couple of ideas in the report that are not really relevant to the task. The candidate talks about the building, the work atmosphere, and problems with parking, which are minor irrelevances that would definitely cost the candidate a mark. However, there are an achievement, a problem, as well as some suggestions for future training, plus extra information in the report, so we could say that the reader is still fully informed. To conclude, I would give this candidate 4 out of 5 marks in content, because of these small irrelevances, which fall into the 3 mark category, but because the reader is still fully informed, which would fall into the 5 mark category, we get to a middle of 4 marks. Okay, so I hope these examples have given you a better idea of what the content marking criterion actually means. Hopefully, you will be able now to assess your own writing a little bit better and to understand if you've done this part of your writing well, or if you need to go back to your text and perhaps change a few things, remove some irrelevances, or add a little bit more information to some of your content points. As I said, in the next video in this mini-series, we are going to focus on the next criterion, communicative achievement, where I'm going to give you more examples from different levels. So check out my other social media as well for more content and updates, so you definitely don't miss out on that new video. And with all that being said, I hope you enjoy your practice going forward, and I'll see you in the next video.